Hello and welcome. We're starting today here at the carrots, mainly because they're just outside the door, so it's a good place for me to start. I particularly want to look at these few carrots at the front here today. Sorry if I'm squinting, I have the sun in my eyes, which is wonderful. I'm not complaining. A beautiful sunny day forecast. These carrots were transplanted from little tiny carrot thinnings, which is not something you're supposed to do, but I wanted to experiment and find out what would happen and if I would get lots of forked roots and stumpy carrots. So I'll be interested to see how these carrots actually turn out. They've been given good spacing because I was able to plant them as little transplants, rather than when you're usually planting carrot seeds, they end up too thickly clumped together and need thinning out. So these were a few of my carrot thinnings from the main carrot cluster behind us. Now some haven't got very big. I think partly we had a bit of slug munching and they're being shaded by this red currant bush. My main curiosity is how straight will the carrot roots be. So let's pull them all up, big or small, and find out how straight those roots are. Start with the big one at the front. Well, that's looking pretty promising. We have some forks going on at the bottom, but I've got a good chunk of carrot here first off. And this is the same, it has forked out. This one's smaller, looking nice and straight, but I see there's the beginnings of a fork coming out here, so left to get bigger. That will become like these, and all forked out with extra legs. Another big one. Let's have them all. I've got little bits left. That one doesn't seem to have got much bigger than the carrots I planted. That one looks about the most promising. Short, stumpy carrot, but no forks going on. One complete carrot. So about half of them haven't grown at all. They're not much bigger than the carrots that I planted. They've got a bit more leaf going, but not much in the root department. But I think they were too shady, and that is their main problem. I've still got a good harvest of carrot from these thinnings, but definitely do have some forking going on. Not as bad as I anticipated it was going to be. So your choice, either compost your thinnings when you thin them, or eat them there and then if they're big enough, or give them a chance. You might get some food to eat from them. A worthwhile experiment, definitely worth it if you've got the space to plant those thinnings out. Yes, I'd do it again. I've gained some extra carrots. Brilliant. Now back here in the main carrot bed, they're not all straight and perfect here either. So it may not just be a case of transplanting, it's just the shape that carrots are. Oh, very short stumpy one. I think I've had most of the biggest ones from here. These really need to be left to grow a bit more. What else have we got? I'm looking for a fat stalks. Will give me a guide that the carrot underneath is bigger and fatter. Oh, these are looking nice and straight today. I've pulled up quite a few forked ones recently, and I was hoping to do the same today, but it's not happening. Well, I can't believe it. Every single carrot today is beautiful and straight. I've had quite a few forked ones over the past couple of weeks while I've been harvesting. The one day I want to pull up a forked one to show that I do get forked carrots. They're all lovely and straight. It's the end of August and I was about to say quite a hot sunny day, but actually we've suddenly become very overcast and cloudy. It has been miserable this August. It's been cloudy and rainy and cold. Not at all our usual August weather. It's normally melting hot and beautifully sunny. Now I've not been up to the garden for 4, maybe 5 days, so nothing's been watered, nothing's been weeded, nothing's been even looked at. So let's go and find out how things have been managing without me. Perfectly well, I'm sure. I am expecting to find some tomatoes to harvest though, so I'm going to take the trug up with me to get those, and if I'm lucky, a gherkin or 2. So let's go and take a look and see how things are faring. Oh wow, what a wonderful sight. Those sunflowers are looking amazing. Let's go and take a closer look. You're looking a bit dodgy, you might fall over. Can I get in there? I can't get in too close. Oh, and the sun's shining on me, I'm all glowy. Big sunflower, yay! I've got squash growing on the ground underneath them, so I can't get too close. Oh wow! Okay, there's a monster squash. I can just see over there. How has that got so big in only 4 days? That's crazy. I told you it's been raining lots. Let's go and have a look. Bring you in. I don't know how well I can focus you. A monster squash. I don't know how it got so big so fast. It wasn't that big a week ago. Where's my hand for scale? Oh, big squash. And there seem to be, I can move, there's another variety here. Lots of little tiny ones. Big tennis ball size. Now I know around the other side of these sunflowers there were a couple more of those yellow squash starting to form the other week. Let's go and see if they've grown this large as well. Yay, a second big one. It's huge. In we go. Oh, monster squash. And there's a little baby one here. It's probably not going to get very big because this big squash is taking all the food. All that rain's not been going to waste though. It's been fattening up the grapes quite nicely. These are a small grape. They generally only get to about the size of little black currants, but they're very delicious. Won't be ready yet for another month, I would say. End of September before the grapes are ready to harvest. This green gage is ready to harvest today. Last week they were solid as bullets. They're small fruits, taste like plums, with a small cherry-like stone in the middle. As I say, last week they were like bullets, and this week there's just a little bit of give as I squeeze the fruit. They're green all the way through to their cherry stone. This tree was actually planted as an apricot tree. They didn't mislabel it at the garden centre. In its first or second winter, the apricot succumbed to the cold and the frost and died off, but its rootstock survived. And that's what this green gage is. It's the rootstock from the now dead apricot tree. I was in no rush to kill it off. It was a living plant, growing in the garden, so I left it to see what it would do. It was just another tree. Was quite delighted when a couple of years later it started producing these fruits, an extra bonus to make up for a loss of the apricot. So I still have a fruit tree, just not the fruit I thought I would have. I'm going to pick these today. They have a very short window of harvest. Looking around the tree, yes, we've got some here. Give it a few extra days. They start to rot and decompose on the tree. So I'm going to harvest all the good ones today, even if they're still a bit firm, and they can ripen up on the kitchen worktop throughout the week and I will have a munch of lovely green gages every day for the rest of this week. A very short harvest season, but very delicious and an extra bonus. So let's get these picked. Well, I bought the truck to harvest tomatoes. Instead, I've got lots of green gage. Well, let's hopefully say, as well, I've got lots of green gage. Yum! The birds tend to leave them alone. They don't realise they're ripe because they stay green. The only way to know they're ready is to give them a gentle squish and see if they're feeling soft yet. They stay green all the way through. Tastes like plums, a little cherry plummy stone in the middle. A lovely extra treat. Right, let's go and see what the polytunnel's doing. Actually, before we do, this is the Thornless Raspberry, or one of the Thornless Raspberries. I planted about 5 at the beginning of the year. That's recovering really well. They all had their tops nibbled off, I think, by a deer. It didn't take much, maybe only 6 inches of new growth that was coming up. Suddenly they've had a big spurt of growth. I've got at least a foot of new green growth on all of them. They're all looking as good as this. This one's even got quite a few raspberries on it. Not ripe yet though, still very green. Now, polytunnel, that's where we're going. Can I get you? I don't know. Well, that gave me a surprise. This bucket is left outside the polytunnel, just propping open the door. When it started sploshing around, it gave me quite the jump. Hello, little frog, what are you doing in there? You'll get stuck. I don't know if you can get out. Shall we help you? A bucket is not a place for a frog to live. Come on. Oh, I think I might have to tip it out. Up he come. Woo, there. Are you a frog or a toad? You look a bit toady to me. You definitely don't want to be in that bucket. That better? Freedom. Go on, off you go, don't fall in. You're lucky I came by. You might have drowned if you were in there too long. Can we pick you up? Nope, you're going to run away. Oh, 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 oh. There we go. Gonna upset you. Oh, definitely a toad. Frogs are smooth and slippy, and toads are leatherier with lumpy bits. I need both hands. I've got one holding the camera. How long have you been in that water, you poor thing? Maybe not long. One lovely garden toad. Now stay out of buckets. Don't find yourself a stone to hide under. There. Aren't you lovely? You definitely don't want to be in the water all day. Frogs are much more water creatures. Toads prefer somewhere damp and cool, not necessarily in the water. And then off you go. Well, I think the poor pineapple lilies are a bit thirsty. First job, get them a drink. Some of them are doing okay. And some of them are definitely very droopy. Let's get them some water. It's nice and cloudy and overcast outside, so I'm not too worried about getting it on their leaves. Sunburn. But I will still water them as close to the soil as possible. Poor little thing. You'll soon perk up with a good drink. And still looking splendid after my insults the other week. They're not looking quite so insignificant anymore. There are, as suspected, lots of tomatoes to harvest. Yay! And some more over here. I don't know if these are in shot. There's lots on this one as well. So let's get the truck and start start picking tomatoes. The beefsteak tomatoes are doing beautifully. This is an Italian beefsteak with this beautiful ripply outside shape. So I'm going to harvest obviously all of the red tomatoes today, but I'll also harvest those that aren't quite fully red and ripe. A couple of days on the kitchen worktop and they'll be perfect and ready to eat. If I harvest them at that slightly earlier stage, it stops the sudden shock of a rain shower or a heavy watering and skins splitting. It also means they're not there for any bugs that decide to take a munch once they're perfect. So if I get them now and let them spend a couple days on the kitchen worktop, I can guarantee rescuing most of my harvest from any insect that wants to eat them. We've got some down here as well. Now I have so many today, which is wonderful. My biggest harvest so far this year. Oh, something's already been eating this lower one. But pretty much an empty skin. Throw that back in the garden. There might be a seed that'll volunteer itself next year. One in there. Can I reach that tiny one? Yay! Oh, there's a nice red one up there. Didn't see you hiding. And your friend. There. More tomatoes! Yay! Oh, can I reach the basket? No. So I've still got some more to get. But as you see, I've got lots. Oh, we've got these up here. I'll get those in a second. So I'll probably leave it a couple days for the slightly underripe ones to ripen up. And then I will cook these and put them in canning jars. Just tomatoes and a small pinch of salt. And that's all I'm going to put in my jars. When I'm ready to use them is when I will start adding other things to the mix. If I want to make a tomato soup, I will puree them up, add a little more salt and some double cream to make a beautiful cream of tomato soup. If I want to make a pizza topping, I will start cooking them again from my pre-cooked tomato mix in a jar. I will tip them into a saucepan and cook them to a slightly thicker consistency, adding some herbs and most importantly some basil, which will make a nice thick pizza sauce, or just before it gets to pizza sauce stage, it's really nice as a pasta topping. Oh, that one's rotten. We'll take you away. Put you in a compost barrow. There we go. Woo, it's hot in here. I'm dripping. Oh, we might as well have you. Will do. And I can see another plant over there that needs harvesting. So one more lot to go. So yes, I find at this busy harvest time of year, just boiling them all up and putting them in jars means I have a nice easy task now, and I can make choices and selections as to what I'd like to turn them into much later in the winter when I'm ready to actually eat them. As well as lots of tomato salad now, of course. Ah, oh no, drop one. That'll be bruised. I better eat that now. Perfect. Filthy fingers and delicious fresh tomatoes. Yum. That's why we do it. For all this delicious fresh food. Doesn't get more nutritious than straight off the plant. Now, go wash my sticky hands. And give these tomato plants some water. They seem to be faring very well considering I've not been here for 4 days. Oh, gherkins, I haven't looked for them. I don't know if there are any. The Italian plum tomatoes are looking particularly splendid. I think they're the best I've ever grown. There's more at the bottom. I'm not sure if we're in camera shot. Yes, we are. And up here, one behind this leaf. Well, you don't look good. Let's get rid of you. There. Yeah, rotten tomato. The rest of them look wonderful though. That's one for the compost. Planted a few little brassica plants in here the other day. I say brassicas because I don't know if they're cabbages, cauliflowers or broccoli. I mixed up all my seedlings, so I don't know what's what. Something's been having a munch on this one, I see. And there's one more around here. So just the 3. Can you see? No, you can't. Oh yeah, there we are. 3. This bed here I was going to clear the other day. This is where I started the year with my beans and sweet corn. But as I started pulling up some of the sweet corn stalks, I realised that this tomato plant is trailing through them and being supported by the corn stalks. So I decided, instead of clearing the bed, ready to put winter cabbages in, I've just cut the tops off the corn stalks and left the rest of everything alone until we've harvested all these tomatoes. I planted a border of flower seedlings this year, lots of which that haven't survived. Just after putting them in, we got some howling gales and some cold frosty nights. The weather was abysmal. It's been a very strange year for weather here in the UK this year, but some of them are doing really well. Now, this looks like a hollyhocky thing. I'm not great with flowers. I do lots of vegetable stuff, but not so much flowers. I have hollyhocks, and they're tall and have big flowers. This is similar, but not identical. So a hollyhock family, hollyhocky kind of thing. Pretty little pink flowers. The Californian poppy I do recognise. I've been growing that for years. And antirrhinums, a white one, which is nice because most of mine are pinks and yellows. But what I really brought you here to show off is the verbascum. It's done splendidly. I have 3 big verbascum along this border, and I think this one might actually flower for me this year. It's just starting to develop a bud in the centre and shoot up a bit. It's got these enormous soft furry leaves and this beautiful silvery green. I've been very pleased with it. So they've been the pride of my flowery border. Not actually flowering yet, just being a splendid plant. I don't know if we can scan you along. And there's another one over there. So we've got 3 of them. There's this one here. And following along, there's another smaller one to the side of it. Oh, and there's a tiny one in here, squashed in the corner. And another big, monstrous, mammoth one looking splendid. Oh, hello, ladybird. Woo, can we get you? Yay, little ladybug. Always nice to see the ladybirds. Oh, you're all squiffy. I don't know what happened to you. You're sitting sideways. This I recognise. This is physalis. I grow it in the polytunnel. It takes up masses of space. So I've kind of kept it chopped back and out of the way this year. So this bit has sneaked out. A bit of root runner, I think. Don't know if it'll survive the winter. I've had them survive outdoors in the southwest. It just depends on what sort of year we get. If it stays relatively mild, This will pop up again next year. If it gets really harsh and cold, it might die off. So yes, the pride of the flower border, not actually flowering, is the big fluffy leaves of the Bascom. Hopefully in a week or two we'll actually get a flower from that one. We'll come back and take a look, see what colour it is, because I have no idea. I know the wild form of mullein, which is in the same family, is generally yellow. But these could be any colour, pinks and purples, perhaps yellow as well. Be exciting to see. I've just been thrilled with its massive fluffy leaves. I think that's it for today, unless I spot something else amazing. So we'll say goodbye and I'll see you next time. Oh, I did find a gherkin. Where's my tub? We finished, but we've not. One little gherkin. Oh, can I reach? Heave ho. Pull the trunk into shot. There. Now this is not all tomatoes. There's actually a layer of green gauge underneath. It's very heavy. I'm going to have to sort things out quickly before they get squashed. One knobbly gherkin is all I found today. I have been known to miss them once or twice, so there might be one more there. I just can't see it hiding in the green leaves. So I'll say it again. Bye for now, and we'll see you next time. And remember, whatever you're doing, have fun doing it. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to click that like button and let me know. Click subscribe and YouTube will make sure you see my next video. So bye for now, and we'll see you next time. And don't forget, whatever you're doing, have fun doing it.